téléspectateurs du canal, bonjour. Nous sommes ici à Fulton. C'est une cité dans l'État de Maryland. Nous sommes ici dans un centre qu'on appelle l'African Museum. C'est un centre où l'art est présenté, l'art africain, mais c'est surtout dans le cadre de la journée internationale des femmes. L'occasion a été retenue également pour permettre à l'une de nos sœurs qu'on appelle Madame Hélène Dandi Lou de faire une présentation sur l'impact de la guerre sur les femmes et les enfants.
Very much for coming. You know, you can arrange to have a party and you can have nice refreshments, you can have nice vendors and everything, but if people don't come, you can't have a party. And you can't have the proper people for a forum. So we thank all of you for coming out, taking time out of your day to come out to support the museum's interests and support the museum's activities, and most of all to give support to the 4 young ladies that we have who will be speaking about, during Women's History Month, their participation in promotion of peace and prosperity and progress in the 21st century. I do certainly thank you very much, and I see all the women's smiling faces. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here.
And I am a programs volunteer here at the museum and worked closely with Doris in the presentation that hopefully you will enjoy today. Before we begin, I think I would also like to thank some of our guests who came from out of town and from abroad, because our presenters will have a special thanks at the end of their forum presentations. Clément Nabo, Nabo News Radio, DC General Manager, projected into Washington, DC, and beyond, because we have Jeanette Faith, Deek, radio host of New York City. So she'll make sure that the news gets back to New York City of today's event, as well as Jules Kwame, cameraman from DC. And they are all representing the Côte d'Ivoire. I'd be amiss if I also did not thank our vendors who are backed by popular demand. Dolores, she's not in the corner because she was a bad girl. Actually, she liked it over there and requested that she be there, and many of you did find your way to her, so that's quite wonderful. We have Maimuna from Tutu Story Books. She was backed by popular demand. We have Nasozi Kakembo Semafi in from New York. And then, of course, all of you know Al-Fadi, who is a longtime friend and supporter of the museum and the liaison between the African Art Museum of Maryland and the National Museum of Niger, where we have our partnership. And we have Hani, who is also backed by popular demand from India. In observance of Women's History Month, we have invited several stimulating women to present to you their reflection from their continents and their organizations about their roles as peacemakers, also their role in progress and prosperity in the 21st century. We want to thank especially our sponsor, and you will hear from our sponsor and presenter. I'm going to ask the ladies from the forum, from the panel, to please come forward. Counsel and personal touch. They serve clients in virtually all areas of the law, including family law, estate and trust, business, civil litigation, as estate planning, probate, and guardianship matters. A caring and cool-headed advisor, Eleanor helps her clients develop plans. Eleanor Hunt.
And I am a board of trustees member for the museum, as well well as a resident of this community, Maple Lawn. I wear many hats, as most working moms do. I am a wife, I am a mother of 2 wonderful children, and a lawyer, to name a few. I attended George Washington Law School, and upon graduating, I had the privilege of serving as a judicial law clerk to the Honorable Sherry Krauser in the Circuit Court for Prince George's County. At the time of my clerkship, Judge Krauser was the head of the Family Law Division. So on a daily basis, I observed her resolving contentious divorce cases, custody cases, child support matters, and on a good day, several adoption matters. The firm is based in Greenbelt, with an office in Rockville as well, and it's the largest law firm in Prince George's County. We have 40 attorneys, and out of the 40 attorneys, I am the only African American, and there are only 12 of us who are female. The focus for the forum today is to describe my role in the promotion of peace, progress, and prosperity in the 21st century. So you may be thinking to yourself, this woman is a divorce attorney. She breaks up marriages, doesn't she? So how does she promote peace and prosperity? I fully understand your hesitation at the thought of using the words peace and divorce attorney, or even peace and attorney, in the same sentence. The words peace or peaceful are typically not adjectives that come to mind when describing an attorney. As you know, the stereotypical attorney is arrogant, aggressive, outspoken, argumentative, and somewhat pessimistic. My goal is, and has always been, to represent my clients to the best of my ability and to meet my clients' desired wishes, so long as they're reasonable, in the most peaceful manner possible. I promote peace and prosperity for my clients by building them up with validation of their feelings, by assuring them that they are not alone and that they will not be alone through what can be a very daunting, prolonged, and expensive process. Prosperity and progress, whether in the legal field or otherwise. So let us carry on and continue to do so. Thank you.
And we're going to meet Miss Hélène Dandi Lou. She is a humanitarian agent, undergraduate psychologist, social worker with United Nations High Commissariat for Refugees, that's the UNHCR, where she worked for refugees through the UN. She worked for more than 12 years with Liberian, Sierra Leonean, Congolese, Rwandese, Burundese refugees in refugee zones and refugee camps in Africa. She is the founder of peace-building NGO, a nonprofit organization in Africa called VAFAG, Vision and Actions of African Women Against Wars. Since 2005, she is one of the 1,000 women collectively nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize 2005, also called Peace Women Across the Globe, by the Norwegian Oslo Nobel Peace Committee. Since 2005, she is also one of the ambassadors for peace of the Global Peace Foundation in Africa and the United States. She is the author of the book entitled One Republic, Two Presidents, My Cry for Côte d'Ivoire. That was in 2014. She has worked for 9 years for Caribbean Breeze and Metro Homes as a direct support professional in the USA. Since 2007, she resides in America, in Washington, D.C., and she is an American citizen. Thank you.
Dear Jackie, and dear member of American, let's say AAMM, and honorable guests. The theme of the intervention is the impact of war on women and children. But first of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation. It is a great pleasure for me to be here with you to participate on such very important event, which is the celebration of International Women's Day, March 2017. According to UN, the theme of this year is Women and the Changing World of Work, Planet 5 to 5 by 2030. And UN Women is calling on all actors to step up for the gender equality so that the world of work for all women. On such light, we need to know exactly how the International Women's Day was initiated and why we celebrate it every year. According to some research, the celebration of International Women's Day is the work of a very strong group of women. It happened in 1900. The leader of the group was Miss Clara Hélène. She was the leader of the Women's Office for the Social Democratic Party in Germany. My statement here is connected to International Women's Day because it is about to share with you my field experience on the impact of war on women and children around the world, mostly in Africa. According to UN for refugees, there are 65.3 million of victims of war, and the majority are from Africa. And also, 80% are women and children. Like those group of women leaders, what can we do to help those women who became victims of war by force? I say by force because nobody wishes to die, nobody wishes to get sick, nobody wishes to be refugees, victims of war. What can we do? Miss Clara and her friend have noticed what was going on in the society, and they decided to do something about it. Their concern was why women's rights was not respected and what to do for a change. So they decided to work for a change. They worked very hard to initiate the International Women's Day. And our time, 21st century, do we have a vision for a change like those women of yesterday? I can say no. I worked with United Nations for refugees for more than 12 years, as you said. So I'm a humanitarian social service coordinator, and with more than 400,000 Liberian refugees in Côte d'Ivoire, a special place called Refugee Zone. In 1994, during the genocide war in Rwanda, I think most of you knew about it, I was sent also on a special mission there as a social service coordinator. I was in charge to manage 400,000 refugees settled in many camps, composed of Burundis, Rwandese refugees, based on Congo, Uvira. And from there, I went on mission to Bukavu, Goma, Kigali, Rwanda, all of the Africa. I witnessed so many horrible situations. I received and listened to many 100,000 refugees of all ages. I visited victims of war and in prison, hospital, refugee camp, and so on. I know who they are, and I also know what they were going through because I spent more time with them. Like she was saying, listen to them, comfort them, evaluate their need, whatever they need, you must be there. Wherever they are, you must be there with them. I have a case. This case concerns a dead mother who is breastfeeding her 7-month-old baby. This happened when I was on mission. During my mission, I witnessed many critical human situations in one of our refugee camps. It is about a dead Rwandan refugee woman, mother, who is breastfeeding her 7-month-old baby. After a long day of visiting several refugee camps in Uvira, my colleagues and I went back to our UN office. A few hours later, we received an emergency call from our partners to inform us that there was a large inflow of new refugees coming from Rwanda and Bukavu to our camp. So we rushed to go back in the field to see and evaluate the situation and be able to help them. Upon our arrival, the refugee women was waiting for me at the medical center to show me some critical cases. Many among them were injured. But there was a case, a very special case, should I say, for a refugee mother, all covered with blood, sitting on the floor and leaning against the wall, with her eye closed, and her 4 young children surrounded her. Their ages were 2, 5, and 7 years old. The youngest one was 7 months old. Baby who was holding on her mother's breast. She was breastfeeding her baby all through. I immediately called the doctor to check on her. A few minutes later, they told me that she was already dead. And all we could do was just to recover the children and bury her. For me, it was impossible. That woman there would not be dead. So it was really impossible to pull the mother away from the youngest baby, because her arm was just holding her, still holding her very tightly around her. And she wanted to keep him, her baby, there forever. It was very hard to believe that this woman, his mother, was gone, dead. Despite all this disturbing picture, my mission was also to separate the baby from the mother. I then had to release the arm of the mother and remove her breast from her hungry child's mouth. As a woman, as a mother, and as a humanitarian agent, such reality was very unbearable. We are all human. We must feel the pain of other humans. It will be you or me. This mother represents all of us here in the room. She is our conscience. Many thousands of women, victims of war around the world, face the same situation. Her situation must be our story and a challenge. As a human, and mostly as a woman, let's all close our eyes and see the picture for ourselves. And how do we feel about such reality? So this is the impact of war on women and children. Honorable guests, this image touched my heart and my soul. It affected me for the rest of my life. For me, this image was a message and also a challenge for a change. The experience rose me against war and also against the promoter of war. My determination to work for peace is based on that particular eyewitness experience. I decided to work for peace in Africa. Since 1999, I created a peace-building NGO called VAFAC, Vision and Action of African Women Against War. Through my peace engagement, I became a peace activist in Africa before the war, in Côte d'Ivoire, my country of origin. I initiated peace activities in Côte d'Ivoire, hoping to prevent war, but the political leaders refused to listen to me. Unfortunately, since 2002, Côte d'Ivoire was attacked by rebels. Since 2010, after the presidential election, again, there was another horrible war. Côte d'Ivoire had two presidents for one Côte d'Ivoire. This is why I wrote this, to tell my story. One republic, two presidents. Have you ever heard something like that? More than 3,000 people were killed. More than 300,000 Ivorians became refugees. Many other thousand people became handicapped, and many women were raped too. There are also more than 300 political prisoners, including the former President Laurent Gbagbo and his wife. Up to now, they're still in prison in Côte d'Ivoire. I wrote a book to share my story. The title, Okay. Since then up, there is no peace. I live here in America, happy, but I'm concerned about Côte d'Ivoire and around the world, because what I went through, war is awful. War is just an ugly, horrible, sad, painful. War diminishes the value of human beings. War on women and children. During war, the rights of women are violated. According to UN information, during the genocide war in Rwanda in 1994, more than 250,000 women and children were raped. In Congo, more than 36 women and children are victims of rape every day up to now. From 1998 up to now, more than 200,000 women and children have been raped. Women from many war zones face the same drama, like Liberia, Sierra Leone, Sudan, Darfur, Côte d'Ivoire, Burundi, Mali, Syria, etc., etc. From this rape, they face another problem. These women and girls are affected by AIDS, HIV, including unwanted pregnancy. They also face rejection from their communities. Most of them are alone with many unwanted children from the Rape Act. Many thousand women become widows because of the war. These women need a special attention because they are traumatized. They have psychological, social, health, and economic problems. Concerning children now, according to UNICEF, during war, the rights of children are violated too. More than 300,000 young children, boys and girls, are ex-combatants. They were recruited by force and trained to kill from 3 years old and older. Besides these children, many other groups of children, from newborn to any other age, suffers from war. They are very vulnerable. They too need a special attention because they have psychological, social, and health problems. They are being separated from their parents. And I met so many women, refugee women. I asked them, I was so curious, I asked them, I want them to tell me what do they think about peace. So here is my question. What do you think about, as a refugee woman, what do you think about peace? And what peace means to you? All of them, they said, as a victim of war and women, peace is very important to us. Our vision are peace, security, reconciliation, economic, and health program. We wish to see our children going back to school without fear. We, the mothers, wish to be able to go back to work, to go back to our farm without any fear. We also wish to be able to rebuild our human dignity through some financial project to support our families. To conclude, I'm concerned about the negative impact of war on women and children and crises around the world, mostly in Africa. Miss Clara Zillian and her friend, I think, shows us the way. Through their action since 1900, we celebrate the International Women's Day every day. We have a challenge too. International Women's Day is just a reminder concerning our value and our responsibility. What can we do for the very humanity? With peace, security. Even here in America, there's no war. But I can say that there is more war. Because every day, we are killing each other. Your child can go to school, you don't know, you are not sure, he's coming back. This is another way, what can we do as a women and living in the society? And sometimes we are victim ourselves. What can we do? So for me, International Day is just a reminder, women, what are you doing? As a woman, our challenge is to promote women's rights, to promote education for all, encourage more women to be engaged on peace-building activities, and increase our special health agencies for women, including micro-projects for the well-being of our families. We also need, as a peace builder, we also need donors to support our peace-building activities. We, women, as a victim of war, we should be ambassadors for peace to build peace, because we are an agent of change. Without justice and peace, there will be no development. Without the implication of women on the process of peace and reconciliation, there will be no peace on earth. Should we just say, no woman, no peace? Thank you very much.
He has spoken and presented to us today. I would like for us at this time to look at another field, another area, a region where there is also hope. In the face of so much desperation due to war and the crimes of war, we know that women, above all, have been able to survive and come out of the ashes and truly, truly bring their children to some light and to some life. We're very fortunate to have as our next speaker Miss Nadia Hassan, who is the director of Young Leaders Institute. She is also the founder of the Villa Park Peace Coalition. She is a political activist serving on the National Committee for the American Muslim Democratic Caucus, and she is a media commentator on several local media networks. We have asked Nadia to be with us today, particularly because of her work with the youth and her responsible role in helping them to develop their character. Thank you, and if this time we could have Nadia.
First, I'd like to thank the African Art Museum of Maryland for opening their doors the beautiful museum and just for welcoming us here. I've never been here before, and it's truly amazing, a truly amazing experience. I'm also delighted to be here with these extraordinary women, and I would like to thank Jackie, a very special thanks for inviting me to come here today. So thank you all for being here this afternoon. I too was asked to speak about my work and the impact it has on peace and progress and prosperity. And before I delve into the work that I do, I thought I would begin by telling you why I do what I do and what inspires me to do the work that I do. I am a woman, and I strongly believe in my feminine authority. I am of Lebanese Arab descent, born and raised in the United States, and I undoubtedly believe that I am an American, and no one can tell me otherwise. I am a Muslim who unwaveringly believes in the truths of my faith, but I firmly believe that each and every person has the right to choose their own faith and their own path. And I believe that each person was born with the inalienable rights to be who they want to be. Muhammad Ali, who was a personal friend and mentor and personal family friend of ours, one of his quotes really inspired me when he said, "I don't have to be who you want me to be. I am free to be who I want to be." As a proud American Muslim woman, I am deeply convicted by the values and the principles of my own faith. Principles and values such as freedom of religion, racial and economic equality, gender equity, and yes, Islam is all for gender equity, and we will talk about that a little later. The universal principle of goodness, do unto others as you'd like have done to you. Sounds a lot like the golden rule, right? Integrity. Integrity is a real important one these days because I feel that this value is the one that is being most compromised in our current political environment with alternative facts and fake news today. And this is one that we are struggling to hold on to. And the last value, there's so many and I don't have time to get into all of them. The last value that I'll mention is the value of love. I strive each and every day to embody the value of love for all of humanity and all of God's creations. So it is these Islamic values, I mention them because they may not always be obvious given the barrage and decades of negative media coverage that continues to demonize my faith. On television, you won't hear the words Islam and peace used synonymously. But in actuality, if you understood the Arabic word, Islam means peace. Also, on Fox News, there will never be any parallels drawn between the words Islam and progress. And it was the Muslims over the centuries that have brought forth numerous inventions that have shaped the modern world. Inventions such as algebra. It was the Muslims who revolutionized the numeric and algebraic system and mathematics. It was also the Muslims who invented the optics from where the magnifying glass and the camera had emerged. And for those of you who love to drink your coffee in the morning, it was the Muslims who discovered the coffee bean and the technology on how to brew that little tiny bean. And so women, during the advent of Islam, flocked to Islam because of how many rights women were given. And I can't help but think that just about 100 years ago in Europe, women were not allowed to open up checking accounts without their husband's permission. That was just 100 years ago. And 1,400 years ago, women were awarded the right to own property, they were awarded the rights to their inheritance, they were awarded so many rights that it took a long time for other civilizations to come to grips with. So let's see, the first university in the world was founded, located in Morocco, was founded in 859 by a woman named Fatima al-Fihri. And this university is considered the oldest, to be the oldest continuously operating degree-granting university in the world by the Guinness Book of World Records. Another woman, Aisha, who was the Prophet's wife, she was the first scholar, she was known as the first female scholar, and she used to teach both men and women alike. And one of my favorite role models, who is not always associated with Islam, but the Virgin Mary. I have studied her life, and actually in the Quran we have 2 chapters that talk about the Virgin Mary, and actually the Virgin Mary is the only woman to have a chapter named after her in the Quran. And so she is truly an inspiration to me and to my life, and I try to emulate her. Actually, my dress, the way that I dress cover, my modest dress, is emulating the Virgin Mary, and that's where we get that tradition in the Islamic faith. The misogyny in our society, the rape culture that exists, that oftentimes goes without any recourse or being addressed. And also the violence against women, which my sister here spoke so eloquently about. This has got to stop, and we women will stop it, God willing. So in essence, I do what I do because I believe that Islam is peace. And I believe that Islam is justice. And I believe that Islam ensures the rights and the freedoms of every living human being that is here on this planet. And so over the years, I've worked in a number of capacities, but my focus, the focus of all of my work and my mission is to make sure that peace is the underlying thread of everything that I do. Peace of my mind, the peace of my heart, and the peace of my soul. And so peace, progress, and prosperity will emerge and flourish when you become that source that will produce these outcomes. So I know that the source and the power of peace lies within me and within each and every one of you. So power to the people, peace is with the people. Peace to you all.
I'm very happy, very honored to introduce the lady who is actually responsible for us, all of us that we're here today as ambassadors for peace for the Global Peace Foundation, and that is none other than Gail Hamilton, who just returned from an international peace conference in Manila in the Philippines. Gail is the director of the Interfaith Peace Building Division of Global Peace Foundation. She also works specifically as the U.S. Director of the Safe Haven Campaign, Interfaith Alliance to Abolish Human Trafficking. Mrs. Hamilton has worked in the nonprofit sector for more than 25 years and has served others as an educator, mediator in international conflict situations, convener of interfaith networks and engagements. She lived and worked in Africa for 8 years serving in the mission and humanitarian aid fields. Her passion for peace is rooted in her difficult experiences during the war in Zimbabwe, the military coup in Kenya, and the aftermath of genocide in Rwanda. Mrs. Hamilton was instrumental in establishing the humanitarian aid organization Women for Women in Rwanda in 1997. In 2010, she assisted in establishing content and programming for the International GPF Interfaith Summit in Jakarta, Indonesia. She facilitated the creation and the signing of the Jakarta Interfaith Declaration as an outcome of that gathering. Mrs. Hamilton has subsequently coordinated interfaith sessions at the annual Global Peace Conventions, which engages 24 chapter nations in the Philippines, Kenya, Atlanta, Malaysia, and Paraguay. Gail is the mother of 3 beautiful children and lives with her husband in Virginia, and we're so happy to have her here today with the African Art Museum of Maryland. And she's going to just round this whole program up for us. Gail.
We're coming into the home stretch. It's really hard to follow my sisters here, such powerful women. And first of all, I want to thank the museum for allowing us to be here. You're a very lively, wonderful group of folks, and I particularly want to thank Jackie. Jackie's my hero. And I'm so grateful that we've known each other for years and worked together. And the Global Peace Foundation, which I'm going to talk a little bit about, was the bridge that how we met. And so I'm very grateful. And you know, she should be speaking. She should be on this panel. I've organized a number of programs, and she was a speaker. So next time y'all need to have her speak as well. And I'm so happy to meet a new friend, and my old friend Dandi Lou I hadn't seen for a number of years, and also Nadia, a new friend. So I feel real comfortable being here. So I'll be talking for the next couple of hours. I feel so comfortable. And actually, our time is getting short, right? But okay. Well, with Dandi Lou, I just changed my speech because she brought me back to Rwanda, and then Nadia started off saying why she worked for peace and how she's worked for peace and why she's worked for peace, and then she left with she finished her speech with a point about become the peace yourself. That's Gandhi actually has a wonderful quote like that, and it's just another example of how.
That was my quote.
Just another example of as human beings, we're all human, and there's so many similarities and universal principles and values that we all hold dear, and we just don't focus on our similarities and our core humanity as much as we could. And to bring peace, I feel that's what we need to do. So I've been working with the Global Peace Foundation, but actually my passion for peace came out of war. And as you heard, Jackie was talking about my background a little bit. But I was in Zimbabwe during the 6 years of war, and then Kenya, it was like it was following me. In Kenya, as soon as I got there was a coup. Okay, here we go. And then later went to Rwanda. So while Dandi Lou was in Bukavu, you were in Bukavu?
Yeah.
I went in '97 after the genocide in Rwanda. How many of you feel like you know what happened in Rwanda, or you know about the genocide. Well, that's good. That's good. There's so many. I mean, it's so hard to take it in, isn't it? Yes, and there's so many things going on around the world. Dear friends of mine were murdered in the genocide, and that's what caught my heart, even though I was living in Alaska at the time. So I think one of the most important things I want to say today that Nadia also said, I mean, she's got so much energy. I felt tired just sitting there. But, you know, her main point about we all can, there is something that we all can do, even about genocide in Rwanda. I was in Alaska raising my little kids, and you know, I saw the pictures that you probably saw of bodies floating down the river, and everybody was saying, oh, this is a civil war. We can't get involved in this. And that is a time when I felt connected to humanity. I've had this sense that was keeping me awake at night. Like, I cannot be on this earth. I cannot, you know, stand in front of my descendants and say that I was on this earth and let this happen. I have to do something, and I couldn't stop it, but I could help the survivors of genocide. And so me, just one little person in Rwanda, I mean in Alaska, I just decided I was going to try to do something, and this is not the talk I was going to give, so I may not even need my PowerPoint. But it's a good example, actually, because a miracle really happened with me, and I was so haunted by the victims of rape in Rwanda. Rape was used as a weapon of war. So here are these deeply, deeply spiritual women, religious women now who had an enemy child, and they're pregnant as a result of rape, and their families don't want them because it's an enemy. So I looked around and I found an organization called Women for Women in Bosnia. And that was another thing that really made me mad, because I had lived in Africa 8 years. I had fallen in love with Africa and African people. And then I felt like this genocide that was going on in Bosnia was taking everybody's attention, and I felt like the international community was committing a racist, error by not stopping the genocide in Rwanda. So anyway, I contacted the founder of Women for Women in Bosnia. I said, why are you just in Bosnia? We got to go to Rwanda. And she said, yeah, we do. I'd like to, but I don't have the money and I don't have the people. I said, well, if you get the money and you get the people, will you go there? So long story short, I took the founder of Women for Women in Bosnia to Rwanda, and we did a feasibility study, and long story short, Women for Women in Rwanda began in 1998. And since that time, there's been thousands upon thousands of women sponsored survivors of the genocide who could begin their own business and put their life back together. And it was just a spark, and it worked. It was really like a miracle. And you know when you're doing the right thing, because the doors are flying open, and the right people are right in front of you. So really, apathy is our enemy. We really can do so much, and it starts with the desire. Okay, maybe I will do my PowerPoint. Thank you. This is an international NGO in 24 countries, and I've been working with them for a number of years, and I'm still very excited about it. And Jackie works with us. I just returned from our Global Peace Convention, which happens every 2 years. It was in Manila this time. Jackie assisted us in 2012 in Atlanta. She led a delegation from Uganda and was a tremendous, tremendous help. So y'all can come. Nadia, you really need to come next time. So we have chapters in 24 countries now, and those 3 points there, interfaith leadership, strengthening families, and building a culture of service, those elements are interwoven in every project in every country that we have. And the vision statement is one family under God. So that it sounds like a religious organization, but it's actually not. No one religion is promoted. But the vision statement is really emphasizing our common humanity, that we are one family. And we work with faith leaders because the deep universal truths and values that we need in order to make peace are within our faith traditions. How can we find in our hearts the forgiveness that is needed when we are faced with so many crises? And we were, Global Peace Foundation recently was invited to Ireland because peace has been made in Ireland since the Good Friday Agreement 15 years ago, but there's more peace walls in Ireland now, 10 times the number of peace walls. It's kind of an odd oxymoron, isn't it? But there's more peace walls there now than at the time of the Good Friday Agreement. So we were asked to come there to do peace building, which means a deeper, how can people come to forgive? How can people let go of hate and work through the trauma that war, causes? So one reason that I really am excited about working in peace building in Global Peace Foundation is I feel that we're really getting to the root cause. So when you think about all of the different conflicts around the world, identity-based conflict, if you look at all the various conflicts, and there's unfortunately so many of them, it has to do with identity. So who are we? I mean, if somebody asked you, who are you? What is the root of your identity? We have a lot of workshops where we ask these kinds of questions, and people will say, I'm a woman, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm Kenyan, or I'm this or that. And one of the only workshops that I was in and directed it, there was one man that said, I'm human. I was like, yes. And you know where he was from? Rwanda. So our identity is we have a specific grounding of our identity, and we can begin to develop it's okay. Thanks. We can begin to develop an us versus them sort of mentality very, very easily, actually. And once that is established, there can be fear and retribution, all kinds of things start to come in. And this us versus them can be based on nationality, on ethnicity, race, religion, and even social strata. So for the past 3 years, I worked on a anti-human trafficking initiative, and really could see this kind of situation even with the victims of trafficking, being in a different social strata, and our society not being open to really embrace and reach out to victims of trafficking. So as long as we have this situation of us and them, or you also hear it expressed as the other, I mean, this is really common within us and probably subconscious. I mean, it's not easy to root this out, and really building is the deep inner work of forgiveness and letting go of hate and establishing relationships based on true dialogue. That's peace building. And then peace sharing is the last thing. That's what we're facilitating now, because Global Peace is a transnational organization. We're bringing these Nigerians to Belfast. And we just brought the Belfast folks to the Philippines. And because we're all human and because we actually have a lot of similarities, we're able to help each other and share what works, and actually even more share what didn't work. You know, it'll save you a little time. So it's fascinating, but it's not easy and it's not quick. But it is happening. Even I have spoken to a lot of leaders in the Middle East who are tremendously encouraged by what's happening in Ireland, because that was a very complex conflict, as the Middle East is. But so we're working on future project of taking peace builders from Ireland to the Middle East. Okay. Oh, that's it.
For your visit to the Museum of AAMM, the many diverse continents you reflect, and for generations to come. Your message demonstrated your dedication to peace, progress, and prosperity. Ms. Nadia Hassan. Hélène Dandi Lou. And you ran for Dale Hamilton of Global Peace Foundation on Sunday, March 12th, on the occasion of the celebration. And of course, last but not least, again, we have the opportunity to thank our wonderful sponsors for today's event. And the African Art Museum of Maryland presents this certificate of appreciation to Miss Eleanor A. Hunt of Joseph Wilmore Special Cactus Plant, which, as I discussed with Doris the other day, somehow reflects the duress of women in a most barren environment, but somehow we managed to flourish, somehow we managed to survive centuries into centuries into centuries. I hope you will go forward remembering this event today, and certainly again to thank you for your support of the museum.
Nous avons avec nous notre frère Alfadi qui a bien voulu être présent à cette cérémonie. Nous sommes heureux de l'avoir avec nous. Nous allons lui tendre notre micro. Bonjour Alfadi.
Bonjour mon frère.
Comment ça va?
Très content de vous avoir ici.
Voilà. Alors, tu étais là, tu es exposé. Tu es aussi ambassadeur de la paix. Est-ce que tu peux dire quelques mots pour nos auditeurs?
C'est surtout pour ça. Je suis venu dans le cadre de mon travail comme artiste et ambassadeur de la paix de l'UNESCO pour donner une image positive à l'Afrique, mais surtout aux Africains qui vivent ici, pour montrer que sans paix, il n'y a pas de développement, sans paix, il n'y a pas de vie. Donc je suis heureux vraiment d'être là dans une organisation au féminin, parce qu'il s'agit de mars, du 8 mars, et de la continuité de la paix que les femmes sont en train de devenir et de faire aussi. Et voir mes frères et sœurs ivoiriens ici, c'est quel plaisir. Il y a une qui a parlé de paix, qui a parlé de travail, qui a parlé Dandi Lou, Hélène qui est géniale. Je crois que Hélène a fait un travail superbe, elle a travaillé dans la paix au niveau de HCR, au niveau. Moi je suis aussi ambassadeur, elle ne sait même pas d'ailleurs, je suis ambassadeur pour HCR aussi, pour la paix. Je travaillais beaucoup avec HCR, j'ai fait des grands défilés où j'ai fait des donations pour les réfugiés au niveau du Niger, au niveau du Mali. Donc je crois que Dandi Lou a fait un travail super. Ça c'est important. C'est une fierté qu'on voit ici quand même ici aux États-Unis. L'Afrique évolue, l'Afrique monte une autre dimension. On n'est pas là uniquement pour chercher de l'argent. On est là aussi pour apporter notre contribution en vivant avec les Américains. On est aussi Américains comme eux. Ça c'est très important pour nous. On voit les Ivoiriens d'origine ivoirienne qui sont Américains. On voit des Américains aussi d'origine nigérienne, d'origine togolaise. C'est l'Afrique, je crois, qui gagne dans tout ça.
Bien sûr. Est-ce qu'on peut s'attendre à une activité très bientôt ici, d'Alfadi ici?
Le 19 mars prochain, on a un grand défilé qu'on va faire ici à Washington à côté pour les boursiers. C'est aussi une fundraising pour aider les femmes qui ont besoin d'argent pour avoir des bourses. Je viens toujours dans le côté paix, le côté humanitaire. Donc on fait un grand show dans ce cadre-là. Mais bientôt, nous avons déjà ouvert une boutique à New York. Mais nous, aujourd'hui, nous voulons absolument donner une bonne image et une image extraordinaire à la mode africaine aussi à DC et puis à New York.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Très heureux.
Peace building division, not the entire
organization.
Okay, so what can you tell us about this foundation and specifically about this forum?
Well, it was a wonderful forum because it was a great audience, really lots of energy, and that makes a big difference. And I'm very grateful to be able to talk about women and on this occasion, commemorating the Women's History Month. And I think that the topic of peace and women really goes together.
You touch 4 points: peacemaker, peacekeeper, peace sharer, and the other point. Can you come back to these topics?
Sure. We have peacekeeping, which is really like enforcing peace and just keeping people separate so they don't kill each other. So that's peacekeeping. And then we have peacemaking, which is really done by our diplomats, our governments who draw up the agreements, and finally, and then there's peace building. And this comes after the agreements because there's still problems, inside the people. There's still resentment and there's so much pain that war brings. So then we have to go deep and do the peace building. So Global Peace Foundation is really working with a network of faith leaders, because in our faith traditions, that's where we can really find the tools of forgiveness and reconciliation. So we have teams of faith leaders across the board, all diverse faith leaders who are, really working with people for reconciliation. So that's peace building, and then the fourth one is peace sharing. So as I mentioned, Global Peace Foundation is bringing peace builders from Nigeria to Belfast, for example, to share what works in Nigeria. And it's really amazing. It stimulates, it can bring about a shift, in a conflict. It can move someone's heart and find some keys, to open the heart. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
My name is Doris Ligon. I am the founder and I serve as the director of the African Art Museum of Maryland. The museum is a museum that is dedicated to better understanding of the people of the continent by an exploration of the art. So we have art, and what we try to do is to have people look at the art, and we talk about the art, and maybe that will bring about a better understanding. Once people understand what you produce, that will bring about a better understanding of the people who have not interacted with African art, will bring about a better understanding of the people from another part of the world to the people on the African continent. That's what we do. The museum is 37 years old. We are a non-profit organization. Nobody receives a salary. We are hardworking, and we are held in high esteem with everybody who's ever met us, because we are doing what we do from the heart.
So can you tell us how you collect the art? You do?
We collect the traditional arts, primarily traditional art, what is called traditional art, the arts that are used by the people across those 55 countries. We own about 3,000 works of art, but what you see in the museum is a small portion, because we only have 900 square feet there, and you can't put 3,000 pieces in that space that we have. But we don't purchase any art objects. They've all been given to us by donors. Because of what we've done in the school system here in Howard County, they've included a unit on Africa in the 3rd and the 6th grades. And we are partners with Howard County Public School System, because we are an educational institution. We don't sell anything. And we are also partners with Howard Community College.
Thank you so much.
Sure, thank you.
About this opportunity, I can say, with meeting, this forum, about and this speech our sister Dandi Lou made.
Yes.
What is your impression?
My impression is that I am very impressed.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to come here today. I was invited by another person, a third person. So one thing I can say to you is that I really learned. I knew of some things that were spoken about today, but I heard more detail from several people about bad conditions around the world. And you know, I'm a media guy myself, I'm a retired media guy, and I knew a lot of things, but I really found out a lot today.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Yes, sir, my pleasure. All right,
Thank you.
God bless you.
I'm Muna Mara, and I'm the owner of Tutu Storybooks. Our mission is to bring diverse books to the community and help them be more accessible. We know that bookstores are closing and that diverse books are the most difficult to find, especially books with black images. And so we make sure to promote those books and display them at community events and at book fairs. We have been in business for about over 4 years, and we are based in Montgomery County, and we come where we're invited. So we are invited today at the African Art Museum of Maryland, and we met some great speakers speaking about women's empowerment and peace and prosperity. And I know that being a woman-owned business, it is difficult, but there is support out there, especially when you have a great vision. And so I just want to commend the museum for doing an awesome event and inviting us out today and promoting diverse books.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
J'ai tellement confiance en lui, lui que tu appelais ton frère, tellement rassuré qu'il allait te régler le petit problème qui existait entre toi et ton amour, chéri. Ton confident, ton assassin, ta chérie à la jolie garçon mania. Hey yo wow, petito yo wawa, l'avocat c'est mania yaka. Ibeike ni tito ke, mwana konyera nyoye noe. Owa widiamelo, cet homme est bizarre. Allez aïe c'est, ok beyi yerebo, ok tito yerebo.